What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Dudes Who Bet Daily. For August 18th, 2022, I was all ready to lead into the Yankees trying to save their season with a grand slam in the 10th inning. And then this morning happened absolutely crazy from the horse world, from the sports world. We're going to start out a little bit with the Chad Brown news, but we're not going to go too far into it because we are still trying to figure out what the heck happened. To be very clear, something happened. Allegedly, he pushed his ex-girlfriend down the stairs, choked her, and then threw her out of the house, which is absolutely awful and not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. He's claiming it's self-defense. I don't really care if it's self-defense because there's other ways you could have handled this. Aaron, you want to comment on this real quickly?
Sure. Yeah, it's been an interesting morning for sure. Look, here's the deal. We are a site that focuses on betting and trying to make people money. So thank God we're not a news site. We would have to cover this in depth and it'd be a very long day. Listen, he has a reputation that is not great amongst the horse racing community. The horse racing community is a lot like growing up in a small town. Everybody kind of knows everybody's business. I've heard rumors, not of this kind of thing, but of him not being that great of a guy. And so, you know, it is what it is, right? I can't really comment any more than that. This is awful. You know, I'm not completely shocked based on other things that I've heard about him, but we'll have to see the facts, how this all plays out. I laugh because it's just crazy. Horse racing, we can't stay away from the drama, and it's always our biggest people that are in the drama, Baffert and now Chad Brown. So yeah, I don't know. What more can you say than that, really?
Yeah, absolutely wild. Apparently, it was an ex-girlfriend who quote unquote broke into his house, according to Chad Brown, that then caused all this issues. It's just a situation that's not great for anyone, and the way it was handled is obviously not great either. So, not too much more to go into that. The other breaking news that we had this morning: Deshaun Watson, he gets suspended for 11 games. Papa dude, he gets 5 more games. And do you know who his 12th game is against?
No, who would it be?
The Houston Texans. The NFL suspended him exactly enough games so that his first game back is the Houston Texans. You got to love that.
Yeah. And I think it's just hilarious because here's the Browns. They just continue to disintegrate. I mean, you sign this guy knowing he's going to face this, and you pretty much now your season is in big trouble, right? I mean, how silly can you be? I mean, if they didn't want Mayfield, okay, that's all right. But you don't give this guy guaranteed money with all of this on the line. I just don't understand it. I never will understand that one. I just won't.
Can I jump in for 1 second on the Browns situation? For just
sure.
You know you're going to go after him, and you know there's going to be problems, right?
Sure.
There's potential for problem. You have a really good backup the last couple of years in Case Keenum. Like,
yeah.
Let's be honest, Papa dude, he could come in and do what Baker's done for them the last couple of years.
Last year, for sure. Yeah, last year.
Then you let him go, and you have Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
A guy who has proven, Somich, you could comment on him, that he can't get the job done. So it's really incredible how they've handled it.
Yeah,
it didn't work out too well in Miami last year when Brissett came in the middle of the season there. Right. I was actually excited about Brissett. You know, he's not good. I watched him way too much last year to find out whether or not he was good or not. We're going to continue one of the things that we discussed yesterday. No, it is not whether or not a sandwich or a burger is a sandwich. We will ask Aaron his official opinion at the end of the show, but we got to get to the NFL first real quick. Yesterday, we gave out teams that missed the playoffs that we thought were going to make it this year. Today, we're going to do the exact opposite. So let's kick it off here. Papa dude, what team made the playoffs last year that you think will miss them this year in the NFL?
Well, I went to the NFC, and I chose the Philadelphia Eagles because I just feel like they benefited from a very weak schedule last year. Now, they've got a few things going for them. They do play in a weak division, and they have improved the weapons around Jalen Hurts. But I think they snuck into the playoffs some last year, and I kind of think somebody else is better than they are that will beat them out. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. I tell you another team that I'm not high on at all. Aaron's not going to like this. I don't like the Cardinals either. I kind of think the Cardinals are going to slip. But I'm going to go with the Eagles. That's my choice.
Yeah, I think they're the third best team in this division. I think the Giants are better than them, and that's going to make it awfully difficult for them to be able to get to the playoffs. So I don't see the NFC East getting 3 teams in. NFC is kind of a mess. Obviously, the AFC a little bit tougher this year, so maybe you can sneak 2 teams in for that division, but getting a third is going to be awfully difficult. And I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. You guys are obviously Oklahoma fans. You've seen him play firsthand. He doesn't seem like an NFL quarterback, does he, Aaron?
Sucks.
Well put. All right, let's jump to Aaron here. What NFL team do you have missing the playoffs that made it last year?
Jalen Hurts was almost cost us not getting into the playoffs that year. He was so bad. Anyway, I have this.
That is not true. Anyway, go ahead.
Papa dude, you are so. Here's the deal. With Jalen Hurts, like coaches and old coaches love him because he talks such a good game. And I'm sure he studies film for hours and hours. He sucks as a quarterback. Sorry. All right, Steelers. We talked about Steelers a little bit yesterday. Why you picked Baltimore for your Somich? I just don't see how they're going to be any good. Period. And so they're in a division where you got Cincinnati. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not, but I think they're better than the Steelers. And you've got Baltimore, who I definitely think is better than the Steelers. Sure, maybe they beat up on the Browns like always, but I don't know. I just don't have much confidence in the Steelers. You've got to have a quarterback, and I just don't think they've got one. They turned to Mitch Trubisky. That's just as bad as turning to Jacoby Brissett. So all of a sudden, last year you had a division where you had 4 quarterbacks. That Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer, and he's got a little bit left in the tank. Baker's still kind of progressing, and now you've got a division where the quarterbacks are pretty top heavy. You've got 2 good ones. Sort of with Lamar and with Burrows, and then you've got 2 just atrocious ones. So we'll see what happens. But I do not believe in the Steelers this year at all.
Yeah, they didn't address the one thing they really needed to, which is their offensive line. I mean, Big Ben had the fastest time to release of any quarterback in the NFL last year. Mitch Trubisky averages almost 3 seconds per release, which is one of the longest times in the NFL. So behind that offensive line, that is not a good scenario. I know they discussed rolling him out and trying to get him open into space. He ranked 31st, I believe it was last time, in rollout pass percentage when he was in the NFL. So that's not exactly one of his strengths, is throwing the ball on the move. It doesn't seem like it's a great scenario for Trubisky to be overly successful. So I agree with you, man. I'd be shocked if the Steelers are able to make the playoffs. I'm going to go to last year's number 1 seed in the AFC, the Tennessee Titans. It's the team I've been down on. I've talked about it a couple times on the Magic Mike show. We threw up a video on playing their under this year, 9.5 wins. This team is just one of those that feels like they looked themselves in the mirror in the offseason and said, we can't compete in the AFC with Ryan Tannehill as our quarterback and Derrick Henry as our main offensive weapon. And they're dead on. They're accurate. I mean, Henry's coming back off an injury. There's no way he can continue to sustain how good he has been over the last few years. They let go of their all-pro right guard. They let go of A.J. Brown. They replaced A.J. Brown with a middling wide receiver. I mean, so you don't even have a big-time signing coming in here. They didn't spend any of the money on the defensive side of the ball that you were expecting. And they drafted a quarterback. They drafted Malik Willis. Their schedule is also, by the way, absolutely brutal. I mean, they come out of the bye and they face the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Packers, the Bengals, the Eagles in back-to-back weeks. They could be 2-10 or 3-9 midway through the season. I don't see how the heck they're going to end up making the playoffs, especially from a division that's only getting 1. And the Colts are most likely winning that division.
Yep. I agree with that one.
Yep.
I don't think they'll be nearly as good. And I think they showed in the playoffs last year they weren't really all that good a year ago.
All right. Well, there's some NFL teams that we like to miss the playoffs this year after making it last year. Real quick, I do want to bring up Kevin's comment here because I think this is a relevant one. Not looking for thoughts on the arrest, but in your guys' opinions, does if this affect his horses for Travers weekend or even today, because he's got runners today, obviously, as well. Does this affect how you're playing Chad Brown's horses at all, Aaron?
So that's the key, right? And that's why, and obviously from a personal standpoint, I care about a lot more, but from this business standpoint, this is all I care about. I'll be the same way with Baffert. All I cared about is what's happening with the horses and how we're going to bet them. With Chad, I don't think anything changes immediately, but by the time the Travers gets here, does Naira take action? What is the action, right? That's a big question. And yes, it will have an effect. We saw it with Baffert's horses. It had an effect when he was gone. It will have an effect on Chad's horses. I can't answer the question until I know what's going to happen with him. But as long as he's still training, no, there won't be any change.
Right.
And it's interesting with the Deshaun Watson ruling. You see that coming down from a commissioner, someone overseeing the entire league. We don't have that in horse racing, so it would be. I'm not sure what Naira can do. I mean, obviously they suspended Baffert for integrity of the game. I'm not sure if this falls under that same clause, if they would dare do it to Chad Brown. But I kind of agree with you, Aaron. Papa Dude, what's your take here? If Chad Brown's still training these horses, play him as is, or what do you think?
Well, I don't think there'll be any change if he's still training. Do you? I mean, the horse doesn't know he's in trouble. I think it goes on unless it affects him mentally in some way. I think Aaron's dead on, though. If he does get suspended, there is going to be a difference. No doubt about it. I don't know how you react to this because he has not been arrested, right?
He's been arrested, but it's a misdemeanor, and I think he paid $5,000 in bail, something like that. Michael just said too. I think it's 5, but it's not
right.
I don't see how he loses horses like Baffert did, right? When they left his barn for 90 days, and that's when it would start to affect how I'd bet it.
I would say so too, and it's going to be a while before anything's done in the courts, for sure. It's just going to depend on what Naira decides to do. He's a star there, correct?
Yep, the star.
Yeah. So, what is it? A couple more weeks, and Saratoga's done.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him going ahead, and they don't do anything till that's over with. Do you agree with that? Do you think maybe that might happen?
I'd be shocked if he's forced to have horses vacate his barn.
Yeah, me too.
And that's when it starts to matter, right? That's when it mattered for Baffert, right, Aaron?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Baffert, everybody was talking trash, and it was bad for him and bad for his image, but his horses still ran under his name and ran just like they always had. So I would say the same for Chad. And I don't know the rules, and I don't want to speculate on it because, like Michael said, it's a misdemeanor, and it's like, really, like if you really did throw somebody down the stairs and choke them and throw them out the door, that's a misdemeanor. That's good to know. But anyway, I don't know that you get suspended for like a misdemeanor crime.
Oh.
When you take it for what he's charged with, it's a misdemeanor. Like I don't think you get anything for that. I'm sure there's been other trainers have not the severity of what we're hearing, but other misdemeanors that don't get in trouble or anything. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'll just take it for how it is as it comes in.
It has nothing to do with the horses. That's the thing that Naira has to look at, I think.
Well, she was an exercise rider, so is that...
The fact that she was an employee of his or an old employee of his is not a wonderful look either here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will obviously cover that more as we find out more actual information and follow up on the betting side of it as it moves along so we can learn more about kind of how this plays out. Let's jump into Saratoga today. We've got one stakes race before we get to the best bets of the day. We've got the $150,000 New York Stallion Series. We're going a mile on the turf. It's the 9th race on the card. The favorite is Dream Central, who's had back-to-back wins, one in the Stallion Stakes, then in the Susie O. Beat Shizamiya in that race. Shizamiya was a short price and looked like home, and this horse was just able to get outside of her. 5-2 favorite, a little bit of a wedding funeral feel to this one, as you got a much better price at 9-1, almost 10-1 in that win last time out. Aaron, what did you end up on Dream Central here, or did you look somewhere else?
I looked somewhere else, and this, we talked about it yesterday, I should say. It was just like that heavy favorite. We just can't beat him in the New York Stallion Series for the boys. And Dakota Gold got it done, and it was very easy. And it's like, it's a terrible field. This field, they're all terrible. Like, I don't like any of them. You talk about Dream Central. That was an impressive win. Shizamiya was home. I think you had a lot riding on like a single, didn't you? There on Shizamiya.
Yeah, I don't want to bring up that race. I had a $100 cold pick 4, and that's the leg I lost.
Yeah, I thought that was the horse. Sorry for bringing that up, but anyway, it is a wedding funeral. The horse won. The race 2 back was 39-1, and then it was 9-1. Now we're probably going to be the favorite here. I hate to bring this one up, but I picked Robin and Eli on top, trained by Chad Brown. So there you go. Second in a stakes very similar to this last time out that was won by Dream Central. Last time out, or 2 races back, I should say. Last time out was just horrific in a maiden. I just got to think this horse is going to bounce back and run better. That's why old Chatty put this horse in. So I'm going to go number 2, Robin and Eli. Really glad I picked that horse now to get that first win. So this race is awful. I like the 5 a little bit from a price perspective as well. I think the stretch out to a mile will help the 5 as well, but I think there'll be an upset today.
Yeah, Papa Dude, who'd you end up going with here?
I'm really glad that Aaron said the field was awful because I thought it was too. I thought maybe it was just me. I'm thinking maybe Chad named these 2 horses after the 2 women involved.
I knew it was coming.
I knew you were going to do it.
Well, I have to do it. I mean, it's too obvious.
No.
Eli, wouldn't that be funny if that would be the 2 girls' names? That would just.
I knew you couldn't resist.
I have a feeling it refers to horses he has trained before, including Lady Eli as one of the 2 of them. But we'll let you. We'll go figure it out later.
I thought that was interesting, but I'm sticking with the favorite. I don't know. I did look at the one Aaron picked too because I'm thinking, well, he must think that horse is pretty good. to throw it. Of course, the field's awful. So I'm going to stay with Dream Central.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a swing here. I'm gonna go with the 7 Toga Dancer maiden in this spot. Yesterday we talked about a maiden 15-1, ended up running third, a good third, and helped pay out the trifecta. I think the 7 Terra Dancer is awfully interesting in here. I love War Dancer as a sire for New York Turf Series. It's only son of Warfront that stands in New York. I think it's a nice fit there, and you get in the 10-1 price. Jose Ortiz rides for DePaz. I think all of it fits that you're going to see a much improved effort, and that first effort was sneakily good when you go back and you watch it and how fast they went early and how fast they came home quickly for that maiden level. So I think there's more talent in there. You see a big time improvement second out. Maybe it doesn't take all the money, but I think definitely kind of hits the board. I also use the 6 Busy Morning for Jorge Abreu, former Chad Brown assistant, who I think makes a ton of sense in this spot. Lost to Out of Sight first time out. Queen of Lies ran second to Busy Morning, who won by 6 last time we saw this horse. They specifically were targeting these stallion stakes after that win at Belmont. So I think the 6 and the 7 both make a ton of sense here at Saratoga. All right. Let's jump into the best bets here. I'm surprised, Papa Dude, you didn't roll again with the Yankees. That Grand Slam may have saved their season. I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, that's a good way to bust out of a big-time slump. We actually set odds on what team you would pick this morning, Papa Dude. The Yankees were the third choice with the Astros there as a favorite, but you went with a little bit of a surprise. Tell us about how many runs we're going to see in the Rangers-A's game here.
All right. Well, it's funny. My grandson was here last night, and he is a baseball expert. So we're sitting there, and he's a big-time Dodgers fan, and I'm so pissed because I wanted to pick the Dodgers Brewers under, and I didn't because I don't know why I didn't. And so it was 2-1, and of course that was what it was. I would have won, and I was so mad because at the time the Yankees were behind 4-2, and then they tie it, and I think, okay, they're going to pull this out. Then they blow it, and I went to bed 7-4. I said, that's it. Those guys told me not to bet the Yankees. I did it anyway. And I couldn't believe it when I woke up this morning. So me and him, man, we have really looked these over today. And we settled on 3. And we went with Oakland and Texas as what we're thinking is maybe our best bet. We're thinking the pitchers are terrible. Over 8, 5-4, 6-3. It's doable. That's the one we want. We really like the Mets and Braves also. At under 7, we're just a little bit afraid of that 7, maybe being a little low because DeGrom is pitching for the Mets. He may not get very many innings. The Mets bullpen is good, but you never know when you get into those bullpens. So that's what we settled on today. This is Mason. He's our expert, and we're going to go Oakland, Texas over tonight.
And you're dead on. They have 2 awful pitchers going. You've got Zeg Logan and Dunning going with 5.49 and 4.12 ERAs respectively for offenses that are able to put runs up, especially when it's hot down in Texas. So I like the over here as well. 8 seems like a pretty low number for those 2 starting pitchers.
Yeah.
All right, we got 2 best bets from the world of horse racing as well. I'm going to go first so Aaron can close this puppy down. I'm going to go to race 5. And Aaron mentioned race number 8 or 9 and said there was a terrible field. Well, let me tell you, the 5th race came up wildly light as well. This is one of those restricted maiden level races where you have to be sold for 50 or stand for 50,000 or less to be eligible to run in this level. And at that point, you're able to run for 83K instead of the 113,000 that the normal maiden special weights are. This one came up awful, just straight up awful. When you look through it, the horse that people are going to gravitate toward is Clear the Deck. Clear the Deck's top buyer after trying this for the 3rd time is still a 57. Not great. Last time, you see V-Mart, who absolutely ran away from that field. The 3rd place horse, K-Bye, See You Later, came back and won, but it didn't beat that great of a field either. And it's not like Clear the Deck actually ran all that well in that race. Kind of hung out in the back and came forward. The Pletcher first-time starter is now second out. The 6th horse makes a little bit of sense to me in Forbidden Secret. But I'm going to go to the 2-horse Childers. This is the first-time starter for Brad Cox's barn, who's been training well in the morning, gets Javier Castellano aboard, has shown a ton of speeds. The only one that's really working out well, and this field isn't great. I mean, you don't have to be too much to be able to beat this one first time out. I'll take every bit of that 5-2 morning line. I'm hoping we get somewhere near that. But I wouldn't be shocked if this horse gets some steam, ends up around 7-5 or so.
It's Brad Cox, like you said, and he has been winning races in bunches here to start the week. He had some really nice runners. Had a maiden win a restricted race yesterday, You Glow Girl, and it was never close. It just got out of the gate and it was over. And you described how this horse is working. It's like, well, he might break out of the gate and it's over. So I like it. I've got this horse on top as well.
All right, Aaron, let's head to your best bet here. We're heading to race number 2 and race number 4. Do I have 2 wrong there?
Race number 4.
All right, race number 4. Tell us about it. I'll fix this real quick.
Well, look, you're in 5. I'm in 4. The last time we did this, we said play the old double there, a little snake eyes 1-1 double, and it came in. Now we've got the 2-2 double, as Mexican Wonder Boy will be my top pick here in the 4th race. 2-1 on the morning line. I don't know. We might get around that price. This horse running first off the claim for Camejo, and he's having a very good, he's only had 7 runners, but he's won with 2 of them, and 5 of them have hit the board. So, for a small barn, very good meet at Saratoga. He came up to Belmont and was doing some really good things as well. So I like the barn change here. Manny Franco jumps aboard. Well, I shouldn't say jump aboard, runs through the claim. We always talk about that. I think that's a good sign. And above everything else, it's kind of a class drop. I don't think the field's quite as tough. He got beat by a really good horse last time out. And he got second in allowance at Saratoga just 8 days ago, but he got beat by a horse that you actually, I think, may have picked on this show. So it was a good horse. And you look at the pace setup today. Who's going to go with this 2? And Camejo, the one thing he's been doing, you've been watching his horses, they've been getting out of the gate. They've been getting to the lead. They've been hard to pass. So I think the number 2, Mexican Wonder Boy, is going to win this one. And like I said, a little 2-2 double in the middle of that card here at Saratoga. I like it, Somich. Let's do it.
I would even go 2-2-8, pick 3 if you want to go ice cold for those 3 races, because I like the 8 in the 6th race as well. I have the 2 on top here too. I think you hit the nail on the head there with the speed aspect of it. Mexican Wonder Boy should make the lead. It's going to be awfully tough to catch here going 6 furlongs. And I think you do get the 2-1 price, because this is one of those races where you have some inflated buyers that are just hanging out here. The 4 stage left popped to 97, a career best buyer by almost 9 buyer points last time out for the Martin Caramachi barn. He's going to be running back. Falcone claims the 5 Flamingo Hawk, and Irid Ortiz picks up the mount after running a 99 buyer. And that one was 12 points higher than any career highest buyer. So you have 2 races on the page. There's the last race, which is what the mass majority of bettors look at, that are monsters that have absolutely no backing from the previous 6 years of races from those 2 horses. So I think they both will take some money here. I wouldn't be shocked if Mexican Boy is able to send them gate to wire here.
Mexican Wonder Boy, not Mexican Boy.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Mexican Wonder Boy. So there's our best bets for the day. Let's run through them real quick before we sign off. We had a pretty good day yesterday. Ended up 2-1. The parlay got home to give us a plus 1.5 units for the day. Good start to the week here. Aaron's headed to Saratoga. Race number 4, horse number 2, Mexican Wonder Boy. 2-1 on the morning line. Papa Dude going with the Rangers and A's over 8. I'm headed to Saratoga. Race number 5. Horse number 2, I can't remember the name. There it is, Childers, who we got a 2-1 or 5-2 on the morning line here. 2-1 for the week. Up some money. Hopefully we can keep it going. We'll be back tomorrow. Dudes Who Bet Daily every day, noon Eastern, Wednesday through Sunday. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, that's the background, not the video. This is why they don't have to
I was like, what? You can